Hi, everyone. This is Jeff Clark of the Paydirt Prospector here at the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto, snowy Toronto, I should add. I'm here with Ralph Shearing, who is the president of Hawthorn Resources, a brand new company we've just recommended. They're actually raising now. We'll talk more about that, but some exciting times coming up here. Ralph, thanks for joining me here at the Metals Investor Forum.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is a great forum, and we really get to meet a lot of people here, so it's great.
It really is. Yeah. That people should come if they can in person, because you really can rub elbows with everyone and talk to people like yourself just directly head on.
Yeah, and it's well run. There's every food here. Everyone's around all the time, so you don't have to go off site. It's been great.
Good. So we first talk about the people, Ralph. When I look at companies, I like to know who's behind it, who's running it, what their experience is, and that sort of thing. So, Ralph, a lot of people may not be aware of you. You were at Luca Mining, but tell us about you and your background and some of the successes you've had.
Well, sure. I'm a professional geologist. My degree came from UBC, British Columbia, many years ago. I got lots of gray hair. And I've been involved in junior mining public companies for over 35 years at senior management levels.
Wow.
As well as a professional geologist. So I guess my best success would have to be Luca Mining. Luca Mining was a project or a company that I formed many years ago along with a colleague of mine from university. And we found a great project out of Mexico about 24 years ago and nursed it along ever since. And then we got it into production. So I left Luca about a year and a half ago, making room for much more qualified people than me on mining side, because I'm an exploration geologist. But I picked up a lot of mining experience with both Tabahueto Luca and Capo Morado Luca.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I joined Hawthorn about 4 months ago, helping them out reviewing projects. We found a great project that we like a lot, and we've announced the deal. So we are acquiring a Nevada private company from a group of Australian investors. And it is a silver project, and it's also a copper moly porphyry project. It has two different types of commodity deposits we're looking at there.
And it has a lot of zinc in it too, right?
It does, yeah.
More precious metals and zinc, and it's kind of a polymetallic. Is that fair to say?
That's correct, yeah. There's two deposit types. There's a carbonate replacement deposit on the Prince mine. It's an old historic mine. It's mined in the 40s, and that project has about 160 drill holes on it that we hope to be able to capture and pull into a first resource report on that.
Yes. Yeah. Now, the reason we know that there's potentially a big deposit here is because the Australians hired a private independent firm to go and do what they call a JORC report, JORC, which is similar to our 43-101 here in Canada. And that JORC report showed there could be the potential for 100 million ounces silver equivalent, which is mind-boggling to people. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden there's this 100 million ounce deposit. Tell us about how you getting this, what you saw in that report, why you wanted it.
Well, so that JORC report needs a bit of an explanation. And it was calculated. They did wireframe the deposit based on the drill hole information they had. It's two JORC standards. And again, as you say, JORC standards are very similar to NI 43-101. So they're the Australian equivalent of the Canadian National Instrument 43-101. And they outlined that resource about anywhere from 25 to 43 million tons of good grade silver, 60, 80 grams of silver, good lead zinc. It's got lead in it as well, and it has manganese. And we hope to be able to recover all those commodities. And the manganese isn't even in the resource report they prepared, the privately prepared. And it never got published because there was no QAQC data for the old drilling. The only QC data they had was for the 2012 drilling. It was about 15 holes from surface. But all of the drilling shows really, really good results that we hope to be able to advance on. So we're going to go in and drill. We're raising money right now, and we're well along on that process. Once we have the money and the deal closes, we'll be drilling sometime this summer. And we're going to twin a few of the old holes. So if we get comparable results, then we can bring that whole database into an updated 43-101 report.
That's great. So you're going to do 6,000 to 8,000 meters of drilling, I believe.
We've got to cost it all out right now.
Okay.
What I can tell you is we're going to have about a $2 million Canadian budget to drill.
Okay.
And so I haven't gone along that far. We've only got this deal announced 2 weeks ago.
You're right.
So there's a lot of work to do, but we're going to drill reverse circ drilling. So it'll be reasonably cheap. We'll try to maximize the holes we can get. And then we're going to have enough material for metallurgical testing, a much better understanding of the old drilling. And that program will infill drill so that we can improve the confidence of the resource we're going to come out with.
And to meet 43101 standards, but the JORC report can be compared to inferred or maybe even M&I. Is that?
Yeah, I mean they have put it out as an inferred and indicated resource. But again, I stress it's not published, so it's not. We've announced it. If anyone wants to look, they can go back and look at our press release where we announced the drill. It's an exploration target based on the historic drilling.
Gotcha.
So that's how we term it.
But the million tons that they came up with, a pretty good range there. But translate that for us. What does that mean in terms of silver equivalent potential ounces?
Well, the calculation is anywhere from 100 million ounces of silver equivalent resources and above. So we're advertising 100 million, or we want to be a bit cautious and keep those numbers down.
Gotcha.
On the lower end of what the expectations are.
But the idea is this could potentially be bigger than.
Yes, I think it is bigger myself from my experience, from what I've seen.
Okay. So you'll be drilling this summer, and back up a second. You're raising right now. So if someone wants to participate in that raise for this summer drilling program, they can?
Yeah, sophisticated and accredited investors that can pass the regulations can participate, and just reach out to the company, myself, whatever, and we can include them on the list.
And with that raise, your share count is still going to be pretty low, and the market cap of this is extremely low. This is kind of an attractive.
So that's a really good point. So Hawthorn was a shell company until I came along and they hired me into it, and we found this asset. And so we will have about 15.7 million shares issued at the time this deal closes. We're going to issue 15 million shares to the vendor group. So we'll have about 30.7 million shares issued. Then we'll do a financing, which will add maybe another 25, 30 million shares. So we'll be a very tight vehicle for that type of a resource we expect to be able to announce.
And this stock is in strong hands so far. A lot of backers of people that...
Very much so, absolutely. And I think best way to compare it is if you look at comparable companies in the silver space, someone with a 124 million silver equivalent ounce resource is got about a $70 million market cap. Our market cap's 8 million.
8 million. Yeah.
So there's the big upside. It's a really easy thing to see where the upside in this company is.
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe a resource after one drill program. Maybe it takes a second drill program to get the resource, but this is all going to happen within the next 12 to 18 months. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're lucky and we get the perfect storm, and we get the good continuity between historic drill holes and holes we'll drill as twins, and then expand infill drilling, maybe by the end of this year. But that's probably not going to happen. It'll probably take one more drill program once we get a better understanding of everything and put it all together. But it's possible. And so if it takes two, we'll do one more raise, and it would be mid next year for the resource report.
Gotcha.
Now, I was going to say, if the resources are building up really well and there's still lots of open, because this deposit is open in all directions, we could even possibly delay and continue to drill to come out with even more significant resource report.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Tell us real quick, we're almost out of time, about the manganese. Sometimes that's a detriment, but you think it might be a positive?
Manganese is a strategic metal.
It is.
And yes, and so we hope to be able to recover that in the hydromet process along with the zinc and get very pure zinc and very pure manganese. So that's a really good positive, and we'll work through the metallurgical testing. The pathway's already there. It's been proven to be successful in other groups, other companies. So we're going to follow that and explore that possibility. One thing that I didn't really touch on or mention is the porphyry copper moly target on this project as well. So about 10 miles north of the Prince mine, we have a large block of claims that are covering a prospective porphyry moly copper deposit, and those make big mines. So they've only drilled 3 holes in it, and they didn't drill in the right place, which was proven by the IP geophysics they did subsequent to the drilling, and it looks like they missed the prime target. So our idea there is to look at major, larger companies to maybe do a joint venture with them or an option to them, because those take deep pockets.
To drill those, right.
So have that going on at the same time as we're advancing the Prince mine.
That's great. If someone's interested in the financing, they could reach out to you, or if they just have questions and want to ask you about the company, this brand new company, really, essentially.
Send me an email. No problem. Shearing at hawthornresources.com.
Great. Ralph, thanks for joining me. Exciting potential opportunity here. I'm participating in the private placement, so take a look at it. Reach out to Ralph if you have more questions. Thanks, everyone, for watching here at the Metals Investor Forum.